Hey Aquarius, welcome to my channel, Sarah Angel Tarot. Thanks for joining me. Also welcome cross watchers. So this will be a general daily love reading for the sign of Aquarius for September 2025. These are general and collective messages, you know, take it how it resonates. Please like, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification. Okay, so what are the love messages for Aquarius for September 2025? What are the love messages for Aquarius? What do we need to know for Aquarius? What messages do we need to know for Aquarius? First one out, we have got the Page of Wands. Page of Wands. Okay, some of you could deal with a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Obviously, when we're at home, you know, we've got more time to think and reflect and go over things, you know, and be creative and tap into our intuition and tap into our higher power and our intuition. And, you know, also you could be getting communication coming in from a fire sign. You know, somebody wants to talk to you, come towards you. Okay, what was that? We've got 10 of Wands. And then we've got 5 of Swords. So it looks like somebody here might want to surrender something, cut their losses, because something here is too much for someone. It could be you, Aquarius, or it could be your person. You are, you know, an air sign, so you do want peace and harmony, and you know, you're the bearer of the water, aren't you? You come in and you cleanse and heal, you know. Looks like something here is too burdensome for someone. Could be you, could be your person. Okay, but someone here might need to surrender something, admit defeat, cut their losses and walk away. Someone here might be afraid to ask for help. Okay, tell me more about this 5 of Swords for Aquarius. 5 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. So it's like someone here is thinking, should I or shouldn't I cut my losses and walk away? Should I walk away? It's burdensome. Look, it's a burden beyond one's strength. Okay, so these two just flew out. Okay, we've got the Knight of Wands. Yeah, you're definitely dealing with a fire sign. Hang on, I want you guys to be able to see. That's it. Okay, so you could have the traits of a fire sign, or your person could be a fire sign. We've got Gemini, Libra, or you could have a fellow Aquarius here, fellow air sign. Then we've got the Queen of Pentacles. Also, you could be dealing with a Taurus, Capricorn, or a Virgo, or your person could be around someone that is an earth sign, or a fire sign, or an air sign. It doesn't have to be. So we've got the Knight of Wands and we've got the Queen of Pentacles. I'm getting this sort of, correct me if I'm wrong, Aquarius. As I said, yeah, I get a sort of in and out energy here with this Knight of Wands. Somebody, maybe they're not committal, like they're non-committal. Also, someone here is quite fiery and passionate. It could have just been, oops, hang on. It could have just been a sexual thing. Also, someone here could be very focused on their finances, you know, grounded, stable. Maybe they're trying to provide something here, but they're not being, there's no success here. You know, maybe it's like they could be around someone that is obsessed with materialistic things, money, power. You know, the Knight of Wands, yes, he's passionate and fiery and he likes to travel. He's always on the move, you know, but he can be a bit impulsive and a bit of a player, sort of in and out, in and out. I think this came up before, Aquarius. You know, Queen of Pentacles, she's very focused on herself and her finances. She's very sort of stable, secure, quite independent. She's quite sensitive as well. She's quite earthly. You know, she's very connected to the earth and the elements. She likes being outdoors, which makes sense. We've got strong Taurus energy there, you know, and she likes to feel very grounded and stable within her finances. And maybe somebody's not achieving their goal here and they're thinking it's too much, you know, should I walk away, should I cut my losses, surrender, admit defeat? So they're kind of just thinking, you know. But like I said, with this Knight of Wands, I feel that someone here is sort of in and out, in and out, in and out, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Can you tell me more about this Queen of Pentacles and this Knight of Wands? She likes to be in charge of her finances, you know. Okay, got the Lovers, got the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, you're definitely dealing with a fire sign, an air sign, or an earth sign here, Aquarius. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like somebody is exhausted from routine. Yeah. I'm really tuning in to this Eight of Pentacles and this Queen of Pentacles. Somebody's overworked, overstressed. You've got the Lovers here. You've got the card of Gemini here. Could be a twin flame connection. Could be your person. Could be around an earth sign or an air sign. There's multiple choices here. I did pick up this player energy here with this Knight of Wands. They could be far away from you at the moment. They could even be in another country, traveling overseas. It's like somebody is overworked. You know, it's like they're working themselves into a pit of exhaustion here. You know, and it's like somebody is a bit of a perfectionist. It's like, with this Eight of Pentacles, it's like they're overworked in, you know, with a routine. They need to have a change of routine, you know. And that's why I was saying cutting your losses and walking away. You know, admitting defeat. Because someone here is exhausted with this Ten of Wands. It could be that you're in a twin flame connection with someone. Soulmate connection. Let me get some more. Somebody could be in charge of their own business. Somebody could be in charge of somebody's finances. Somebody here might want to make a commitment to someone, and maybe they want to stop playing around, and that's what they're working on. But maybe they don't know how to talk, communicate, speak up. So they're just thinking, look, with this Page of Wands energy, should I reach out? Should I communicate? You've got a bit of a mature energy here and a bit of a player energy. Could be dealing with two different fire signs. Now, with this Four of Wands, I do feel somebody here wants to, you know, commit to something. Offer you, you know, it could be you, could be your person. Maybe they're in another commitment, another relationship. You know, and I just feel here, Aquarius, that someone here, they might want to have their cake and eat it sort of thing. It's like they come towards you, then they go back to someone else. They've definitely got other commitments here. There might be in another relationship, could be a third party situation. Maybe somebody who needs to work on self-love. You know, someone who is dedicated, passionate, yes, but they look exhausted. Now, with this Four of Wands, like I said, some of you could be married to your person. It could be a soul teacher around them, you know, opening up their eyes to things, putting things in perspective. Part of their journey sort of thing. You know, someone here definitely wants commitment with someone, or they could be in another commitment, another relationship. Maybe that's what they need to cut their losses with and leave something behind. Maybe somebody here is obsessed with money, materialistic things. Look, it's overburdening someone here. Maybe somebody here does all the work and somebody else just sits there and reaps the benefits and doesn't do anything, you know. Maybe you're hoping, Aquarius, this person will come forward and offer you some sort of commitment, something real, solid, you know, stability. But I do get a sort of in and out energy with this Knight of Wands. Could be a new person coming in. Could be a new fire sign coming in. You could be dealing with two different fire signs. This Four of Wands, somebody here could be engaged, married, or they want to get married. High Priestess. It's like somebody here needs to tap into their sort of intuition, tap into their spirituality, their power, you know, go within. Listen to their subconscious, going through phases, going through cycle. Maybe this is just a phase that they're going through. They might have been non-committal for a while in the past. They could have been non-committal. You know, you've got the Ace of Wands here again. Someone who's passionate, creative, fiery, you know, giving birth to new ideas, you know, seizing the moment, relighting the spark between someone. So it could be someone coming back to offer you commitment, stability, and stop doing the player sort of in and out energy. You know, they're thinking about it. Look, somebody could still be harbouring their feelings for you as well here, and it's making them feel exhausted, because the High Priestess, you know, she's very intuitive, she's very spiritual. It could be you. If you're a Divine Feminine, it could be you. You know what they're up to, you know what they're doing. You know, and she's very intuitive and in tune with her emotions, with her subconscious mind. She's between two worlds. You know, it could be, you know, and they could be hiding their feelings and harbouring their feelings still, and it's exhausting them. You know, they're carrying too much on their shoulders. Could be you. you know, but someone definitely wants to come in and sort of give you this commitment here with this Four of Wands and this Ace of Wands. I want a new start, a new relationship here. Also with this High Priestess, I feel that somebody here needs to also with this High Priestess, it's like somebody had an epiphany, you know. I definitely feel in the past somebody here was afraid of commitment. Like I said, player, childlike even. But, you know, somebody here definitely wants to come back here, relight the spark. Like I said, seize the day, you know, be creative. And also, this could have been going on for 4 years, 4 months, if not longer. You could be dealing with someone, this could be you as well, Aquarius, that is quite spiritual, embracing their spirituality. Maybe somebody here struggles with commitment, embracing change. Like I said, they might have commitment problems, you know, embracing change, and, you know, there's too many lovers on the go, you know. It's like they've bitten off more than they can chew, sort of crying wolf sort of thing. But with this Ace of Wands, you know, it tells me that, like I said, somebody wants to come back with commitment, but they're having trouble communicating at the moment, which makes sense with the High Priestess. They're still harbouring their feelings. Look, blocked throat chakra. Like I said, there's still secrets here. Things need to come to light, you know. She's very spiritual. She's very intuitive. Between the subconscious and the conscious, you know, someone here needs to make a conscious decision. Maybe somebody here is harbouring their feelings and being a bit cold with their words. Tell me more about this High Priestess, please. Anyone this High Priestess, please. Okay. Somebody definitely wants to talk to you, Aquarius. It could be you. You wish they would reach out, you know, to you, communicate, pick up the phone. I just feel someone here is tired. If it's not you, it'll be your person. They could be tired of a karmic situation or a third party situation, or whoever they're involved with, Aquarius. You know, someone is tired of routine, the same old routine. They're feeling bored, they're feeling fed up. Even before the lockdown, I feel that they felt like this. They're tired of secrets. They wish somebody would be open and honest. It seems to have been going on for a while, you know, repetitive cycle, you know. It could be still playing out, they could still be learning lessons. But it looks like someone here wants a peaceful resolution. Okay, tell me more about this High Priestess and this Ace of Wands. I do feel that somebody here could be, it's like, someone here is, it's like when they give you this Ace of Pentacles, it's like you grow on them, because this is about growth as well. You know, you really grow on them, you bring out the best in them, but they've got this tendency to be a player, sort of in and out. Maybe they want to come back and be more serious and committed and dedicated this time. Look, they want to work things out, straighten things out. But someone here needs to surrender something, needs to cut their losses with something. Could be this Queen of Pentacles. You know, hang on a minute. Anyone on this High Priestess? Okay, what was that? Yeah, someone here is having sleepless nights, guilty conscience. It's like they're at war with themselves. They've got, you know, conflict going on, in a bit of darkness. You've got the Nine of Swords. Definitely dealing with a fellow air sign. You know, anxiety, stress. They can't sleep. They're overburdened. And then straight out after that is the Three of Swords. They could be in a toxic third party situation. Okay, someone here could have suffered heartbreak, loss, betrayal. You know, someone could be after someone for their money. I said that with the Queen of Pentacles here. You know, someone could be going through a healing stage. They might need to heal their heart, work on self-love. You know, there's definitely a third party situation going on here, because there's two women energies. Okay, so you could, because she represents a female competitor as well. As I said, you know, wow. Someone who's very conflicted. Yeah, they're harbouring their feelings. They don't know what to do here, Aquarius. You know, I keep going back to this Queen of Pentacles. It's like someone is only after someone for money and power. Someone can't seem to make up their mind. They don't know what they want. In and out, player. Like I said, non-committal. But then on the other hand, you could have a new person coming in that's got their eye on you. Look, with this page, with this Ace of Wands, not Ace of Wands, Page of Wands, that's it. I feel someone's watching you. It could be a new person, a new fire sign. You know, maybe someone more better for you. It could be you that's stressed out here, look. Overwhelmed with emotions, anxiety. Someone here is suffering heartbreak. Someone here is suffering, like I said, inner emotional wounds, turmoil. I feel a third party here has come between you and someone. You know, and just a lot of stress and anxiety and worry. Someone here is trapped in fear. It could be an ego thing, could be frightened ego. But there's definitely a third party situation that's in the way here. Aquarius, it could be you. Maybe you want to go it alone, you want to have a new start. So you're giving birth to new ideas here, look. Maybe you want someone better that's serious and dedicated and hasn't got multiple lovers around them, look. You just can't seem to come to an agreement. You know, maybe you're saying something better, please. With this Ace of Wands, you're being creative. You know, because this is about self-growth as well, isn't it? Going it alone, being creative, feeling inspired. You know, what gives you that desire, that drive, so, you know, to take that big step, to go it alone. So you could be tapping into your intuition, embracing your spirituality, going within, listening to your inner voice, gaining clarity, you know, taking on the role of the High Priestess. You know, she's all about phases and cycles here as well. You know, what's hidden. You know, maybe someone here is afraid to tell someone how they feel because they fear that they're still involved in a third party situation. Yeah, so like I said, they're keeping secrets, they're harbouring their feelings here. Things are still hidden, nothing's come to light yet. Okay. Could be in a spiritual connection with someone, because there's a bit of divine intervention here, Aquarius. So, you know, you both could be very spiritual and tapping into your intuition and using your initiative and, you know, just that higher power within yourself, you know, the subconscious mind. And we're on this 9 of 3 of Swords. Somebody wants something to be over because they're very stressed out. That's what I feel here. They're very stressed out. Okay. We've got another major here. We've got the Death card. Could be dealing with a Scorpio. Okay. It could be the fact that a third party situation is going to come to an end because somebody has had a wake up call, a realization that someone is only after something for someone's money. You know, they only want them for money, power, materialistic things, greedy. You know, there's more than one female in this reading. So it's like somebody needs to surrender, cut their losses and walk away from something. With this Death card, something's ending and it makes way for better things. Yeah, a rebirth of an old connection, an old twin, an old love, you know. It's causing this person to be stressed and overwhelmed, you know. Someone here's got a guilty conscience, could be guilty about going into a third party situation. Yeah, you've got the Devil. Yeah, could be frightened ego here. They might need to release that fear, let go of it. Because of my throat as well, closed throat chakra. Could be a toxic third party situation where they feel very bound and, you know, tied down and trapped. You know, this is about bondage and fear, doing self-sabotage, being influenced by negative people, someone who's very selfish, arrogant, egotistical, you know, and someone here is really going to cut their losses here and surrender and walk away. I don't feel that they're happy. They're overworked, they're overburdened, they're exhausted. I think it's really tested their limits and it's really took it out of them. You know. So when someone makes this judgment call and makes a conscious decision, you know, to free themselves from whatever this cycle is, this bondage, that they've got here going on, you know, it's going to be better for them. It's going to really benefit, you know, and they obviously come back to you and put things right and work things out. They need to cut their losses, and I think that they will do that with this Death card. Some of you could be dealing with a Capricorn. Definitely an ending to a third party situation. I definitely feel that someone here is nervous. The person that they're involved with could be a toxic person, like I said, controlling, possessive, jealous. Maybe somebody here fears change, or they struggle to embrace change. They've got problems with commitment here. You know, it's like you both want different things. You know, maybe the person that they're involved with isn't on the same level as them. They don't match each other's. They don't match each other's vibrations. Yeah. Tell me more about this Devil. Yeah, I think you're saying something better. You know. And also this person, they're wising up. They're coming to their senses. That walking away and surrendering something doesn't serve them anymore. So they can heal any emotional wounds. If they've suffered heartbreak, betrayal, you know, it'll be better for them. I feel that they can't get their words out at the moment. I feel that they stutter a lot. There's communication problems. So you've got Six of Wands. Again, you've got fire energy. It could be you, or it could be your person that's full of passion, full of creative ideas, right? You know, and when they've surrendered and cut their losses with this situation, they can come towards you. Look, seize the moment, seize the day. Relight the spark, commitment, stability, you know, and be full of victory and happy that they've done that. Might want to have a celebration here, yeah, coming into union with your twin if this is the case, Aquarius. Something more committal, you know. And that's why you're tapping into your sort of intuitive side, going within, listening to your own inner voice, you know, your own judgment. Like I said, she's very spiritual. Embracing your spirituality, you know, feeling victorious, triumph, success, yeah. So maybe this person has really had this wake-up call that when they come away from these toxic ties and these, you know, and this person might want to stand their ground, set boundaries, you know. So the outcome looks really good, yeah. And she's all about knowledge as well, you know, mastering knowledge here, the High Priestess, yeah? Definitely around someone that's obsessed with money and materialistic things, and they will be standing their ground here and setting boundaries and cutting their losses here and walking away with this Death card. Like I said, there's going to be a rebirth of a connection, okay? It could be you wanting to go it alone, you know, because you want to feel victorious, you want something better. Your person could be standing their ground, setting boundaries. Look, Sword of Truth, bringing truth and clarity to a situation, you know. Also, this is about being mentally stable as well, Swords, you know. They don't want to get cut twice, yeah. So they're standing their ground, speaking their truth, saving a union, making an announcement. So they're bringing in truth and clarity to the situation. They're going to speak their truth. You know, there's going to be victory here. Yeah, there's going to be victory at the end of all this. Yeah. It looks like it's been a very long and exhausting sort of journey here. You know, but it's going to be a sort of out of the old, in with the new here. Okay, with this Death card. This person knows that they need to walk away, yeah, so they can have that sort of victory. So they're going to make a judgment call, they're going to go with their own judgment, they're going to tap into their intuition here, you know. There will be victory here. Successful endeavours, triumph, victory, you know. I do feel that this spark will be relighted, you know, with this Ace of Wands, and this person will come back with communication, if it is the same person, you know, and they will be more committal towards you. and not be so player-like with this Knight of Wands there, you know. So there's a cycle here ending, something that's toxic and not good for them and unhealthy. And then there's something new. Yeah, that's what I keep hearing here. Reconnecting and having a peaceful resolution here. Yeah. Someone could have strong sexual desires here about someone, you know, but they definitely want to relight the spark between you. Look, peaceful resolution, mutual ground, mutual understanding, you know, where you're both equal and everything is fair, you know, consideration here, mutual respect, thinking reasonable, thinking logic. Someone here just wants to be fair to someone. You're definitely dealing with a fellow air sign, a fire sign. It could be any sign, but like I said, you know, overall, to summarize, walking away from a third party situation that's not good for them, it's unhealthy, it's toxic, they're not happy. Pull themselves out of the darkness, heal their heart, learn from their mistakes, be more passionate, be more dedicated and committal, not non-committal. And that's why the Death cards come up. It's time to leave that chapter behind. It's served its purpose, it's no good. Look, it's time to surrender. Cut your losses, walk away. Yeah? They might need to work on self-love here as well, you know. I do believe if it's not you, it could be your person, you know, they've got spiritual beliefs. They want to do what's right. Yeah? They're all about the justice. Yeah? Their crown chakra could be activating. They can see things clearly. Yeah? So there is going to be victory here, you know, there is going to be triumph. So I do feel that you just should persevere here. You know, this person definitely wants to come back and, you know, if it's not a new person coming in, they're thinking about it. Look, it could be you thinking about it. Should I walk away? Should I wait? But it does look like they are unchaining themselves from this bondage, you know. It's time to put something behind. You know, it's time to leave something behind. Look, surrender. Admit defeat. So they can come and work it out with you, yeah? It could be both of you that has spiritual beliefs, you know? Embracing your spirituality, embracing change. Because, as I said before, guys, when you resist change, that's why you stay in the same old cycle and you stay in stagnation, because you're resisting change. Don't fight it, you know? Because that's how you end up being stuck. But they really are standing their ground, setting boundaries. Look, sword of truth, look, they're being sharp with their words as well, you know. And I do feel there's going to be victory here with this Six of Wands and this Ace of Swords. There's going to be victory. Someone's coming back with commitment and stability. Could be a new person. You might want to say goodbye to this player. I've just got this feeling that it's all the same person here, Aquarius. A third party definitely drove a wedge. Someone here is definitely going through a cleansing, purifying. Also, someone's going for a bit of ascension. Someone's going for a bit of spiritual awakening. Because that's one of the symptoms, ascension. Sleepless nights. Mood swings. You know. I just feel someone here thought they'd never see the light again, you know. As in their mental state, you know. This is all about mental clarity as well, mental victory, you know. They're confident, they have every faith that it's going to go right with you. You know, you could be harbouring your feelings, you could be keeping secrets, you're closed off, you're protecting your heart. Ooh. You know. So there's a bit of spiritual development here and ascension, you know. As I said, soul teachers, you know, they help with the journey, you know, the evolution of the journey, you know. Once they've sort of healed their heart, or you've healed, you know, someone here with this conflict, you know, battling their demons, battling it out of themselves, you know. But someone's definitely coming in with truth and clarity, really stepping in their power here, you know. They want to do the right thing, they want to do what's fair. You're definitely dealing with an air sign, okay. Surrender, let something go, so better things can come in here. you know. So quite a lot of you Aquarians are going to be reconnecting with an old love. It could be a new person, but I do feel this is all the same person. They're going to be communicating with you. They'll explain to you, you know, why they went into a third party situation, what triggered it, you know, how they feel about you. Just, they want to save this union. That's what I feel. And someone here could be connecting to a higher source of power, you know, divine intervention here. As I said, someone here can't get their words out. You know, they're harbouring and their feelings, you know, and just bottling it all up, and it's driving them mad, and, you know, really pulling themselves out of this darkness. There is light, you know, dawn approaches, death is only the beginning, you know. This Four of Wands is about commitment, stability, married, engagement. Someone could be coming home from university, you know. That there is definitely still a chance here. There's still chance of victory, success, to relight this spark. This person's really going to seize the day with this Ace of Wands. Okay, sort this out with you, peaceful resolution. Okay, alright Aquarius, so I really hope that helped. I hope it was insightful, you know. Let me know in the comment section. I hope it resonated. Okay, also, if you're new, give me a like, give me a subscribe. If you want to know anything, if you want a personal reading, just get back to me. Give me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, I just, like I said, I really tuned in to someone's energy here that can't get their words out and stutters, and it's like they're lost for words. You know, because I've stuttered a lot. Someone's got communication problem, blocked throat chakra. Yeah. So anyway, let me know if this helps, if it resonates, like I said. And I'll see you again real soon, Aquarius, with some more readings. And yeah, peace, love and blessings. And I love you all so, so much.